What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Decided not to post a video yesterday. I know I usually don't go a full day without an upload or at least a stream or something, but just didn't really feel like posting anything, and nothing was really going on. I did go to the Seahawkers banquet event on Saturday night, which is why I was able to stream a little bit of the NorbCam speech. I don't know how many of you guys saw that, but I did manage to get that up. I was thinking about maybe taking some more video from that event and cutting it into an actual video for the channel, but never really got the chance to. It was really dark in the room for the most part, and there wouldn't have been a ton that I could have done with that. But the event was really cool. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. Um, Gary Gilliam was there, and he actually had the stage for, I think it was almost an hour. He basically told his entire life story. It was actually pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff that you might not necessarily know much about unless you know him personally. So he went into some of the stuff that he went through, and it was actually really interesting. There were a couple other things going on throughout the day as well. Christian Michael was there, actually. Jim Zorn was there. I think we all know who that is. So really cool. Definitely the most, I would say, compelling Seahawkers banquet I've been to. I've been to a few. I think I've gone pretty close to every year ever since 2018, 2019. But this one, there was a lot going on. So pretty cool. Sorry I couldn't take more video from it. I thought about maybe going live a few times that night for certain segments. Like I could have done like the Seahawker of the Year, but it ended up not happening that way. And yeah, so just wanted to mention that real quick here at the front of this video. But this video, I want to kind of make my final video addressing the schedule release that we got for the Seahawks last week. And basically, I just want to go through and talk about how I feel about wins and losses as of right now. Kind of the final piece of the puzzle when you're talking about a schedule release. So I'm going to go through each week, going to just give my brief thoughts on the game and land on a conclusion of whether or not I think the team is going to win that game or lose that game with the information we have right now. Understanding that we don't know everything we need to know yet. We need to see this team in camp. We need to see this team in preseason. We need to see who gets hurt. We need to see who doesn't get hurt. We need to see who gets signed. We don't know all the stuff we need to know yet. We know most of it, but there is still plenty of stuff that remains a little bit of a mystery as we go into mid-May. Okay, so we're just going to start from week one here. I'm going to give my thoughts. Some of this is going to be easy, some of it's going to be hard, but just try to follow the logic. Week one, home, New England. I mean, it's the banner drop game. It's the Super Bowl champion game. I'm not one of the people who ascribes this game to being an easy win. I don't think it's an automatic win the way some people do, but I do tend to agree that when you're playing at home in the opener, the season opener as the defending champs, you should expect to win that game pretty much 100% of the time, as long as you didn't lose your whole team in the offseason and you're relatively healthy. So I do think that's a win. And then week two at Arizona, I don't even really need to say it, right? I think you guys know. I don't see anything with that Arizona team that is particularly intimidating right now. Maybe next year, we'll see if they get a quarterback. Maybe they'll have something, but this feels like a throwaway season for the Arizona Cardinals. If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the PrizePicks app, where it always feels good to be right. PrizePicks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. PrizePicks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. PrizePicks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on PrizePicks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about Team Picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. All right, so week 3, we go to the East Coast for one of the few times we actually go to the East Coast this year to play the Commanders. I don't know what the Commanders are going to be this year. I think their defense was so unbelievably bad last year. It's hard to imagine them getting back to even a decent level this season. It's not like their defense was that good in 2024. It was good because their offense made it look better than it realistically should have been. And I don't know about that team in general. I don't know what to really think about that team overall, but nothing special. So I feel pretty good about that one too. I think that's a win. And week 4 at home against the Chargers, you are getting the early season Chargers. They could be a little bit better than the late season Chargers, but it is at home. Again, usually going to feel pretty good about these home games, although the travel will not weigh too heavily on this Chargers team. But I still feel pretty good about getting it done. And then you go into week 5. This is, of course, the big one. And this is actually one of the reasons why I would ascribe a little bit of concern to this Chargers game, maybe, because there may be a look ahead factor. You're thinking about week 5 at home against the 49ers. That's a game that you really feel like you need to win. If you can't beat the 49ers at home week 5, then you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball in terms of trying to win the division. And you're probably getting a healthier iteration of the 49ers this early in the season. This is kind of that little pocket where they'll probably have George Kittle at relative full strength, but there won't have been a lot of time for somebody like a Bosa or a Mike Evans or a Trent Williams to have gone down. So you're probably catching the 49ers at a pretty good point. I still think we get it done. I still think we're going to win just because it's at home. And I think there are things with that 49ers team that you can take advantage of even when they're healthy. So I got the team starting 5-0. I do. I can see a couple of stumbling points in week 4 and week 5, but I feel really good about at least 4-1. But you get to week 6, and it kind of feels like this is the obvious setup, right? And I get a lot of pushback when I talk about this. People are like, oh, Denver's not that good. Bo Nix isn't going to score enough. And, I get all of that. I know that Denver is not as good as their record last year. Denver is not as good as they looked last season because they got very lucky last year. And then their luck caught up to them in the AFC title game and everything went wrong. It was kind of like the NFL gods were just like, okay, we're not going to let you get to the Super Bowl like this. It's not right. I get that, but it's still a good team. It's still a well-coached team. And look at the setup here. You're on the road in Denver, hard to win in Denver. I know it's week 6, so at least it's not super early, but it's still somewhat early. You're playing them on a short week. It's Thursday Night Football. You're coming off this big game that I believe you will win against the 49ers, the game that you really need to win. And this is not a game you feel tremendous urgency to win because it's an AFC matchup. So this is not a game where Mike McDonald is probably going to push it, right? If he's got players that need the week off, that need a day, that need kind of an extra bye week, he's probably going to give it to him and say, you know what? Hey, we can still win. But if we lose, it's not the end of the world. We're not trying to go undefeated here. We're trying to win another Super Bowl. And you put that all together, it feels like the setup. So I do still think Denver's a loss, and not much is going to move me off of that. By the way, if you take a look at Denver's schedule, they have a chance of going into this game with a losing record. So they're going to be desperate at this point in all likelihood. I think they're going to struggle immensely in those first several games of the year. And this is going to be kind of the game where if they don't win it, they know that nobody's really going to take them seriously because their schedule really smooths out the rest of the way. So they're going to need it way more than we do, I think. So yeah, that's a loss. Week 7, hosting Kansas City at home. I don't really see it from the Chiefs this year. They got too many problems. Even if Mahomes comes back and is playing well at this point, they didn't do a lot to fix receiver. They didn't do a lot to fix the offensive line. Their secondary's been plundered. I think they lost Leo Chanel as well. I believe that's his name. So, yeah, I don't see it. I think that's going to be a win for the Seahawks. Home against the Bears. I do think the Bears are going to be a threat this year. And this is definitely a potential stumbling point, but it's at home. It's Monday Night Football. So, the home crowd's going to show up in a way that they don't show up for a Sunday afternoon game. And I do think there are some things here that play to your advantage. I think Mike Macdonald's defense is in some ways built to take on something like the Ben Johnson offense. Back in Baltimore, remember, the Lions and Ravens played each other back when Macdonald was the DC there, and Macdonald kind of ate Ben Johnson's lunch. It's a good matchup. And I don't know if this Bears defense is going to be able to hack it. They were not good last year. They just forced turnovers. And that only gets you so far. So I think we beat the Bears. Hosting the Cardinals, same thing. I don't really think anything's going to matter. What are they going to maybe be starting Carson Beck by this point? Do I care? No, not really. Should be a win. And then week 10, we got the Raiders. Don't think the Raiders are going to completely turn it around in one season. Going to Las Vegas is not a huge deal for this team. It's not the East Coast. Going to take care of business there, I think. So you get to your bye week at 9-1, and that's bold. I know that's bold, but I think that should be the goal for this season. Get to the bye week at 9-1. All right. On the other side of the bye week, we've got the 49ers. This is going to be a really interesting pivot point for this season. Going to San Fran. I don't know what state San Fran will be in by the time we get to this point in the season. This is definitely the point in late November after Thanksgiving where what's going on with Bosa, what's going on with Evans, what's going on with Williams, McCaffrey. They could be a shell of themselves. And also, at the same time, they might be a little bit desperate. But look at the bye week. And I've already seen 49ers fans complaining about this, man. They don't like playing Seattle coming off a bye week. So that's a big disadvantage for them. So I'm a little bit tentative here. I could definitely see a loss, but I'm actually going to say the Seahawks win this game coming off the bye week, and they move to 10-1. Now we get to week 13, Monday night at home against the Cowboys, and this is kind of the one where I have my guard up. If the Cowboys keep George Pickens, and if they trade Pickens for draft picks, then things change a little bit, but this is going to be my kind of surprise loss for the Seahawks. The home game where everything seems set up, everything's going great, you're feeling great, and then Dallas just rolls in there with a really, really powerful offense, and it's just a little too much for you. And on some level, the loss is going to be a product of the fact that you've won a bunch of games in a row, and it just kind of feels like you're due for it. But I just kind of feel like there's a little bit of a setup here where you're going to be coming off this big win against the Niners that I think is going to basically guarantee that you at least finish ahead of them in the division. And then you've got this Cowboys team on Monday night that is frisky and annoying. I don't know. I'm just feeling it. I think this is going to be the weird loss, right? This is going to be the loss that people don't necessarily see coming, but it happens, and there are reasons why it happens. So I think that's a Seahawks loss, so that's 10-2. Giants, I think that's still going to be a win. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, are they really going to make it to week 14? I doubt it. I don't know if Jackson Dart's going to even make it to like week 10, honestly, with the way he plays. So probably dealing with who's even their backup quarterback. Is it still Jameis Winston? I guess you could do worse, but I think that Giants team, I mean, there's a reason why they traded Dexter Lawrence, right? They got some stuff to work on. I don't think Jim Harbaugh is going to turn it around in 1 year. All right, week 15 at Philadelphia, Saturday night. I know we always beat the Eagles, right? And I don't know what the Eagles are going to be this year. The Eagles might start to fade a little bit here. They might be heading in a bad direction. At the same time, I don't think Howie's going to allow them to be bad. That's just not his style. That's not the way he goes about things. So I'm going to say the Eagles get us. I'm going to say the East Coast trip is a little too much. I'm going to say Philadelphia beats us here. First time in a long time. And I'm going to say that again, it's just going to be kind of the accrued wear and tear of winning so many games early in the season. You falter. And that doesn't mean you're going to be in trouble for the postseason necessarily. Remember, the 2013 team faltered at the end of the regular season, and then by the time the postseason got, they were playing pretty well. But I do think they start dropping some games here, and I think they drop one to Philly. Week 16 at home against the Rams. I think they're going to take care of business here. They do have an extra day of rest compared to the Rams for this game because the Rams play Sunday. We play Saturday the week before. And at home, with so much at stake, Sunday night game, I think they take care of it. I think they get it done. And there are other factors at play here too. The Rams, they may not be the team that they are right now by week 16. They may be relatively unrecognizable. Now that goes for any team, but I think with the Rams especially, things are hanging a little bit delicately. Week 17 Panthers, another 10 a.m. start, kind of an obnoxious game potentially. I think the Panthers will probably be okay. Not great, but okay. But I still think we take care of business. I think we get the win. Got to start locking in a little bit here. And then week 18, we go to the Rams. Kind of feels like a loss one way or the other. Either you just lose because you lose, or you lose because you don't need it. One way or the other. So one way or the other, I'm going to say we lose that game. Maybe it ends up being a problem for us. Maybe it ends up being meaningless to us. We'll see when we get there. But that puts us at 13-4. That puts us at 13-4. Probably wins the division. We'll see what the Rams do. I have us sweeping the Niners, so I'm not worried about the Niners. If we sweep the Niners, then and go 13-4, we're going to win the division. Just kind of depends on how many games the Rams win and which ones they win. All right, so that is what I got. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going with 13 wins right now. I could see 14. I could be seeing ghosts a little bit with the Dallas game, I'll admit, but that just kind of feels like the surprise loss, the one that sneaks up on you. And it can go the other way too. And this is something that I've said a couple times now. The Seahawks, the team we have right now, the way last season went, as a fan, we should be kind of expecting to win every game we play. We're not going to, but we should go into every game with the expectation that we can win. So I don't think we need to write anything off. This is not like the late era Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll Seahawks, where there were some games that we just knew we weren't going to win. No, this is different. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think.